Hey everyone, how is it going, and welcome to my Zulrah guide. So today I want to bring you guys a in-depth guide on Zulrah, so basically you can learn all the mechanics you need to know, and you can feel comfortable killing Zulrah before you even begun. Zulrah is a level 725 solo-only boss that is located just south of Port Tyrus in the Elven area. The only requirement to kill Zulrah is to have started the Regicide quest, and the recommended stats to kill Zulrah are a minimum of 85 plus range, 75 plus defense, and 44 plus prayer for Eagle Eye. The notable drops from Zulrah are the Magic Fang, the Tanzanite Fang, the Serpentine Visage, an Uncut Onyx, and the Pet Snakeling. Alright, so first of all, let's take a look at how the phases actually look. So the melee phase is red and orange, the mage phase is blue and purple, and the range phase is green and yellow. So pretty obvious color coding there by Jagex. They are very, very distinguishable. So now that you know what they look like, let's take a look at them in the actual boss fight to see what they do when the phases change. So this is what the melee phase looked like slowdown. As you can see, it is the red one, and what it's going to do is look at you and kind of target you, so you have to run away at least 2 spaces. It'll swing and miss at you, and once you've moved, it will target your new location. So again, you have to move at least 2 spaces away to dodge it. Melee phase is very, very easy. When he targets you, just run a couple spaces away and you are totally safe. Next is the mage phase. It is blue and purple, and it is going to use both magic and range. So as you can see, the little fire wave looking thing it shoots, that is obviously the magic attack. Now on the last hit of this phase, it's going to use range, and it's kind of a little green looking ball, and there's really nothing you can do to avoid it. So right now, out comes the range hit right there. That will damage you, and there's really nothing you can do to prevent that on this phase. So next is the range phase. Now I just showed you what the range hits look like, so those little green balls. Now when you're on this range phase, it will only use range, and it won't be able to damage you as long as you're praying range. Now the special phase, I call it the special phase where it uses both magic and range. That looks like a range phase, as in it's going to be green and yellow, but that only happens when the range phase is on the west side of the island. So as long as you're not there, all you have to do is pray range. If you get a range phase on the west side directly after there is a mage phase on the south side, it will be the special one. So start by praying range, and as soon as I see that range hit, I'm going to switch to pray mage. As soon as I see the mage hit, I'm going to switch to pray range. As soon as I see the range hit, I'm going to switch to pray mage. So basically what you have to do is just alternate your prayers as quickly as you can, but obviously not too quickly. The trick is as soon as you see that hit, switch to the different prayer. Some people think you have to have the prayer on as you're being hit, and that is not true at all. So as soon as I see the range one, boom, switch to mage. That's the only effective way I've seen to do it without taking any damage. Just as soon as you see the correct hit that you're praying, instantly switch to the next one, and you will never miss a pray switch, and it's actually quite easy with some practice. Alright, so next let's take a look at the snakelings and the venom clouds. So as you can see right now, there's going to be some white balls basically flying through the air. These are going to spawn the snakelings. As a general rule of thumb, the side that these snakelings are being spawned on is the safer side. Now right now you can see basically what looks like a double range attack being thrown out. These will not be thrown directly at you, and if you see this, this means they're going to be venom clouds being spawned. So as you can see right there, he's turning away from me, doing that double range attack looking thing, spawning the venom clouds, and again, as a general rule of thumb, if you see the white balls being cast, he's spawning snakelings, and that side is going to be more safe in general from the venom clouds. One last thing before we get into the setup, here is a map of Zulrah's dungeon, or basically the place you kill it at. The crescent area where there is land, that is where you stand to kill it, and basically I have it kind of color coded so you can see where the different spawns are. So the red dot is the only place the melee phase can spawn. The mage phase can spawn at any of those 3 places. The range phase can spawn at any of those 4 places. And the mage plus range phase can spawn just in that one spot. Now if you've never been here before, I will kind of clarify this. It doesn't pop up in multiple areas. When I have this color coded, it just means that those are potential areas it could come up. So for example, say it's a mage phase in the middle. Afterwards, it can pop up as a range phase on the west side. So it doesn't pop up at all those spots at once. This is just an example of all the different places that it can appear in the different phases. I will have a picture of this in the description if you want to look at it while you are killing it. Alright, let's get into some gear setups. Alright, so now let's take a look at your gear setups. This is what I use. I wear full void range, an armored crossbow, an odium ward, snakeskin boots, a fire cape, diamond bolts, and a ring of recoil. So I guess I'll talk about the things that I use. Void is a really great option here. You get the extra range accuracy and range damage, so definitely use full Void range if you have it. Replace the snakeskin boots with ranger boots if you have them. Personally, I don't think they're worth the money. You can replace an armored crossbow with a rune crossbow if you don't have one. Ultimately, though, you want to be using a toxic blowpipe as your weapon. The toxic blowpipe is amazingly good. To give you an example, my fastest kill with this setup is about 1 minute and 54 seconds. The fastest kill that I've heard of with a toxic blowpipe is 1 minute and 14 seconds, which is a huge difference. So if you can afford a toxic blowpipe, definitely use one. But I'm going to assume you don't have one, and moving on with this setup. So use an odium ward with your crossbow if you can. Odium ward is the best shield option. It gives range attack bonus and range and magic defense. If you don't have one, you can replace it with a crystal shield or a dragonfire shield. But if you have a dragonfire shield, I'm going to assume you can afford an odium ward as well. Well, maybe. But probably replace it with a crystal shield or a DFS, whichever one you have. As far as the fire cape goes, the Ava's accumulator does not work here. It does not pick up your bolts. So I choose to just use a fire cape. Now, if you have a bunch of Avas like stacked up in your bank, you can always use it for the range bonus. But when you die, they actually turn to coins. So unless you've got a ton of Ava's accumulators stacked up, because you're going to die a decent amount probably at the start of your Zulrah kills when you're first learning. So unless you've got a bunch stacked up, probably just go with the fire cape. Now, as far as bolts go, I personally would recommend using Diamond E's at the start. Diamond E's are going to be your best option because they give the extra accuracy with their special attack. But as your kills go on and as you get more skilled at Zulrah, definitely don't use these. They are really expensive right now. I personally either use broad bolts or Runescape bolts, but when you're first starting out, you should probably use Diamond E's if you can because they will help quite a bit. Rings of recoil, you absolutely need these. I will go over that in a little bit, but you need a ring of recoil. And I guess if you don't have Void, you can replace it with either Armadillo or Carol's, whichever one you have access to. Armadillo and Carol's will work just fine, just the Void is faster. Now, if you don't have an Armadillo crossbow or a toxic blowpipe, another good option is actually the Carol's bow. Now, normally Carol's bow is really cost ineffective compared to a regular crossbow, but because your bolts don't get saved here anyway, Carol's crossbow is actually a really good method. Because it hits fast, it's fairly accurate, and bolt racks are much cheaper compared to regular bolts. And because you don't save your regular bolts anyway, it's actually a cheaper option, which is kind of cool. So, if you have full Carols and an Amulet of the Damned, using this method is actually pretty fast. I've only used a Carol's crossbow using Void, and I've managed to get, an average of around 3 minute 30 second kills, which is pretty good to be honest. So try out a Carol's crossbow if you want, if you don't have an Armadillo crossbow, or a toxic blowpipe, see if it does better than a rune crossbow. And lastly, as far as spec weapons go, either use the Armadillo crossbow spec or the dark bow spec with dragon arrows. Now dragon arrows are pretty expensive right now, they're about 2,500 each. But if you don't mind spending the extra money, bring the dark bow. Not only is it really effective here, but it's also really fun. I've had multiple 500 XP plus drops at Zulrah, and trust me, it is awesome. You just get super excited because you hit that hard, and dark bow is a great option as a spec if you can bring it and you can afford the arrows, although it does take up a couple of inventory spaces. So there are pretty much most of your options when it comes to gear switches. Use the best that you can. Again, toxic blowpipe being the best, Armadillo crossbow being the second best, and Carol's bow likely being the third best, although rune crossbow could be the best as well. I can't necessarily confirm, but anyway guys, those are pretty much most of your gear option setups. Let's take a look at your inventory. So here is a really good beginner setup. This is what I brought to start with. So I brought 4 brews, 2 restores, 2 ranging potions, an anti-venom, an extra ring of recoil, a Zolander teleport, and the rest sharks. This is not the setup that I use, but this is a pretty good setup. Now I know you might be thinking, well, if I'm new to this boss, shouldn't I bring more brews? And I'm actually going to go with no. Simply because when you use brews, sometimes you get a bit distracted. So personally, I would recommend using sharks. It's hard to explain, but it just works. Trust me, using sharks seems to work better than bringing a ton of brews. If you're really having trouble, if you're doing the phases correctly, but you're just running out of food, then you can try bringing more brews as you might need, and then you can wean off them as you go. But personally, I would start with this inventory, and again, just add more brews if you need them. Now I'm going to show you guys what I bring for my inventory. Alright, so this is the inventory that I take. I take a dark bow with dragon arrows with a spec. I bring a ring of dueling, 1 ranging potion, 2 brews, 1 restore, an anti-venom, vengeance runes, an extra ring of recoil, which you do need by the way, a Zulrah teleport, and the rest sharks. If you're going to bring vengeance, definitely use a rune pouch if you have one. I don't have one, so a rune pouch would save you 2 extra inventory spaces. But again, I don't have one, so I just bring the normal vengeance runes. If you're not bringing a dark bow, remove that, and then you're pretty much left with the normal setup anyway. So, this is a more advanced setup. If you know what you're doing and you don't mind losing all the extra inventory space for food, you can bring things that speed up your kills like vengeance and the dark bow. Now, I haven't really talked about anti-venoms. I may as well do that quickly. Now, some things in the past poison you. This uses venom. Venom is basically the same thing as poison, except it gets like increasingly more damaging. So it starts as a 6, then it's an 8, then it's a 10, and it does that all the way up to 20. So you need anti-venoms to cure it. You can cure it with super anti-poisons like antidote plus pluses, those dark green potions. Except you have to use 2 doses just to heal it. So you pretty much need anti-venoms. You can buy them for about 25k each at the moment. Or you can make them using... What is it? You can make them using the antidote plus pluses plus some Zulrah scares, but you do need 87 herblore. So if you don't have those, just buy some, and you can make some in the future if you have friends that have the herblore level, for example. So once you have a setup and a gear that you are ready to use, just head over there. Now I'm going to use my teleport scroll, and I'll show you where exactly it is. I would highly recommend buying teleport scrolls from someone. They're not too expensive at the moment. You can pick them up for like 2k each. So I would recommend buying them from someone if you don't have any. But otherwise, the fast way to get there is to bank at Camelot and then run to the, what are they called? The charter ships, and then take the ship to Port Cyrus. I mixed up my words there. Take the ship to Port Tyrus, which does mean you have to bring a stack of coins. But that replaces your teleport scroll anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, and then once you get to here, just run south, and it's actually not even on the OS Buddy map yet, but, anyway guys, make your way here, whether you buy teleports or you run south from Port Tyrus, make your way here, and then you are ready for a kill. So once you have watched the earlier mechanics that I showed in the video enough times and you feel comfortable and you're ready to kill Zulrah, make your way to this area where, you can take the boat to Zulrah, but first you have to talk to the High Priestess Zulrah. I'm gonna go with that. You have to talk to her. Now, I've already gone through the chat options. I believe the one you need has to do with, like, can I offer myself as a sacrifice? Or something like that. Just try all of the chat options, and she will tell you that you can fight Zulrah. Then make your way to the east, and then you can board the boat. Now, quickly as well, Beekeeper, get out of my face. Now, really quickly, if you happen to die, this is kind of actually like a safe boss. Priestess Zul Gwenwing over here. When you die, just right-click on her and click on Collect, and she will give you all of your items back. So pretty much, if you die, there's not even a 10-minute timer. If you die, you can come back and get your stuff whenever, as long as you don't die again. So as long as you only die one time, you can come back and collect your stuff. You won't lose any of it. So it's actually pretty nice. And that way, when you are fighting it when you first start off, you don't have to worry about dying. Okay, anyway, guys. Now that you feel comfortable, let's get this thing started. So before you enter, if you have Vengeance, cast a Vengeance, and then drink a Ranging Potion. Now this is going to be a bit difficult for me to commentate what is happening as it is happening, so I'm going to do my best, but I guess more than anything, I would recommend you just watch me kill this over and over again. Personally, if I can watch someone kill it, I can usually apply it, so... Anyways, before you ride the boat, cast a Vengeance and drink your Ranging Potion. And you will head to Zulrah Shrine, it is going to appear. Now what you want to do is immediately run to the northeast corner and turn on Eagle Eye. As soon as you're able to, start attacking it. Now right now, looks like he's in range phase, but he's not actually going to hit you. He's just going to kind of throw smoke bombs all over the place, but you are safe here. You can shoot him, I think, 4 or 5 times until he goes underwater, and now he is in melee phase. So doing what I showed you earlier, he will target you, so you need to run this way. and he'll target me again, and he'll run this way. Now, next is Magic Phase, so turn on Protect from Magic. And again, this is where Vengeance is going to come in handy if you have it. So, attack Zulrah. You'll be able to shoot it 3 times with your crossbow, or twice, and plus a debo spec quickly if I can. Now, next is going to be Range Phase, so turn on Protect from Range. He can either appear to the south or to the west. In my case, he is on the west side. So run up to the west side with Protect from Range and start attacking him. At this point, he is spawning the Snakelings, so make sure you have your Rings of Recoil equipped. Now he's going to spawn to the south on Magic Phase. Now you can stay on this side and you'll be totally safe. You'll see in just a little bit he's going to go Melee Phase next, so just stay on this side, on the west side, and attack him until he goes Melee Phase, which should happen pretty soon. Now make sure when he spawns these clouds, stay in a safe distance. You can stand right here and range him. Now he's going to go into Melee Phase. Stand right here, and he cannot melee you. The east side, you can just use the safe spot that I showed you earlier, but on the west side, you can actually stand right here, and you won't have to move. So next is going to be a Range Phase on the east side. So turn on Protect from Range, and just start attacking him over here. Again, anytime you are poisoned, make sure you drink it. Now there's going to be a Mage Phase on the south side. So run all the way over here right away, because the poison clouds are going to be more on the east side. So run to the west side right away, and just start damaging him. Now the next phase is going to be the Special Phase. So prepare for that. Try and keep your health fairly high. He's going to spawn these, and in just a second here, he's going to go under. Alright, so now I'm going to turn on Protect from Range, and this is that hard phase. I can't really walk you through it as I'm doing it. You kind of have to go back and rewatch that earlier part if you want to know exactly, tips on how to do this part. So just get your prey switches as good as you possibly can. You won't take a whole lot of damage. This is a pretty slow kill at this point. I do apologize. I'm hitting a lot of zeros, but not really much I can do. Once he turns away from you, you no longer have to attack him, and then you can kill your Snakelings. Next is going to be a Melee Phase. Now on this Melee Phase, you are going to take some damage. There's nothing you can do. You kind of just have to run into the clouds to avoid getting hit. So, oh, see, that time he didn't turn. If you run away before he fully finishes attack, you won't be able to, he won't turn at you. And next is a Range Phase, so turn on Protect from Range, and start ranging him in the middle. He'll attack you for a while, then he's going to turn around and start casting out some smoke clouds, and when he does this, this pretty much means he's going to do a Melee Phase next. So in a second here, he's going to go back under. Now it's a Melee Phase again, so do the exact same thing. When he targets you, run this way. When he targets you again, run back over here. Next is going to be a Mage Phase in the middle, so cast a Vengeance and get ready for a Dark Bow spec if you have one. Again, my hits are quite bad on this kill. I don't know why. Next is going to be a Range Phase to the south. At this point, the boss should be pretty close to dead. It isn't for me right now, and frankly, I'm not sure why. I'm just hitting very, very poorly right now. It's because I'm making a guide, of course. Jax doesn't want me to cooperate, but by now, you really should get the gist of it. All you have to do is just kind of go in a rotation. It doesn't take a lot of kills to get used to the rotation, so next is a Melee Phase. I have done approximately 60 kills of Zulrah, and I know the rotation by heart by now. I know exactly what to pray and where to run to. So, if you're having a hard time knowing where to go, don't worry, it comes with experience. Just kill it a few times, and in no time you will have the hang of it, no problem. And this Dark Bow spec should kill it, hopefully. It may not have, and there we go, I killed it. And I got 30 Dragon Bones and a Magic Seed, so that is a pretty damn good drop, can't lie, that's not a bad drop at all. I killed that in 4 minutes and 23 seconds, which is very, very slow for me. If you want to see what a really fast kill looks like, go in the description of this video. I will link my personal record, which was on stream. It's 1 minute and 54 seconds. But hopefully, guys, this gave you the gist of how to kill Zulrah. When the kill is over, you can either read this teleport to leave, or if you brought a Ring of Dueling, you can teleport to the Clan Wars Arena, which I highly recommend. So, teleport to the Clan Wars Arena, run over to the west, and there's going to be the white free-for-all portal. You're going to want to enter that and leave. This is going to recharge your hit points, your prayer, all that stuff. So, you basically don't have to waste any supplies topping back up on your health, and then you can run to the bank over here, and you are ready for another kill. Well guys, I hope this guide has helped you. I put a lot of effort into this guide. I tried to go as in-depth as I possibly could, so if you could please leave a like down below, I would really appreciate it, and leave any comments with any questions you might have, or leave any suggestions if I might have missed some information that can help people out, because that's what these guys are all about, trying to help people be able to enjoy content. So again, if I messed up on anything, or you have any other suggestions, feel free to leave a comment, and again, please leave a like if you enjoyed or found it useful. It really does help. Well guys, I hope you all have amazing luck killing Zulrah. I haven't gotten any drops, but hopefully you guys have some pretty good drops, and best of luck at Zulrah. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you all later.